Hey guys, how's it going? This is Mike from M&R. Today we're installing a 30-inch light bar above the GMC sign on the 2022 GMC Canyon AT4. First thing we're going to do is pop the top cover off. It's held by push pins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the way you get to it is just prop it with a screwdriver, get a nice prying tool underneath it, and you can just pop those out. That's one. When you have all the clips removed, we're just going to go ahead and lift this up and get it out the way. Next thing we're going to do is take out the 6 T15 screws from the top. We went ahead and turned the wheels to the passenger side so that way we can get into the wheel well. There's a couple screws that we're going to be taking out here. 5 of the T15 bolts that hold the inside liner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that way we can peel back the liner and get access to the inner fender. Now that we peel the inside fender out, there's 3 bolts on each side. There's 1, 2, 3. They hold the fender to the bumper itself. We're going to go ahead and remove these 3. Hard to get the camera in there, so we're going to try to do our best. That's 1. That's 2. And there should be 1 more towards the end. And there we go. Now I went ahead and separated this a little bit. And let's see what else is holding it. We're going to do the same thing on the other end. So same thing on the passenger side. We're going to go ahead and loosen up the 5 Torx bolts. And these are T15. We're going to go ahead and peel this inner flap out. Once you peel the splash guard, you'll see the 3 bolts that connect the fender to the bumper. You're going to have to remove these 3 on both sides. It's hard to get the tool in there. I typically just use the tool to loosen it, and then I use my fingers to get the rest of the bolt out. There's the last one. I'm going to go peel this under and separate them. Next thing we're going to do is remove these 2 bolts from the front of the grille. Might need an extension. I might need to get a longer extension. Now we're removing the 2 10mm bolts. There's 1 on each side from the bottom in order to separate the front of the grille from the radiator support, from the active shutter system support. I apologize. And the second one is here. Let's see what we got. Okay, the clips are coming out. I'm just pulling a little bit to loosen up the clips. And I think the only thing that's left is on the bottom. Let's go see what we got. I'm gonna say loosen all the 7mm bolts from the bottom. All right, we got them all out. We're gonna go in and unplug the fog light. Typically you squeeze it and pull it back. There's a little button here, you squeeze it and pull it out. That's the driver's side. I'm gonna do the same thing on the passenger. Squeeze it and pull it out. Now looking from the bottom, there's only 2 more bolts that are holding this bumper from the inside. So 1 is here, and it's right behind this plate. I'm gonna get my hand in there and unbutton it. And this is from the under view. This one here, and 1 is going to be in here as well. It's pretty bad bolt placement. Well, let's see. It's hard to get to because it's already at an angle. So just to summarize everything, I got the 2 bolts from the center of the grille. I got all the bolts from the under that are holding it. All the clips have been removed. And now everything just comes loose. 1, 2, 3. And you separate the front end. Now that we remove the grille, let me show you which ones gave me a hard time when removing the front bumper. It's actually these inner top ones. It was hard for me to get my tool in there. I guess you can remove more paneling from the bottom in order to get to it. I kind of just used a small ratchet and got it out little by little. Now that you've removed the front end of the vehicle, we're going to get ready to install the 30-inch light bar. Depending on which one you've purchased, you might either go above the GMC sign, you would use these set of brackets. If you've purchased below the GMC sign, you would use this set of brackets. And I'm going to show you exactly how I do it. In this video, we're going to be installing above the GMC side using these brackets. The kit comes with 2 brackets, 2 spacer washers, and 2 side bolts that connect the light bar to the M&R mount. The way we're going to connect them is through the factory hardware. There is 2 bolts that we're going to be taking out from the top of the grille. There's 1 on each side. We're going to slide the M&R bracket through it and connect the light bar in between. Let me show you how I do it. I'm going to take this out. We're going to go ahead and thread the bolt through the M&R bracket. Put the washer on the bottom. It's going to offset and make the angle a little bit better. We're only going to hand thread them. We're going to tighten it after we have the light bar in the middle and all connected. Same thing, take it out, thread it through the M&R bracket, washer on the bottom. There we go. We're going to go ahead and put the light bar in between the mounts and put the side bolts. Got a little Allen tool that'll help me with the mounting. Same thing on the passenger side. We're going to see where it's going to align with the grille itself. We'll make final tie downs on the side bolts. Okay, nice and tight on both ends. And then we can tighten the bolts that hold the mount to the vehicle using supplied hardware. Okay, nice and sturdy. Let me show you. I'm going to go ahead and flip this grill around. I'm going to show you guys how the light bar fits in the opening. As you can see, it has plenty of space in order for the LEDs to shine through and doesn't block too much radiator flow. If you're happy with the alignment of the light bar within the opening, we can go ahead and start putting the front end back on the vehicle. Put the wire through. It doesn't really matter which side the wire comes out from the light bar. Preferably, you probably want to have it on the driver's side so there's less distance. But if not, you can just put the wire through. It has over 6.5 feet of wiring, so that way it'll reach your wiring harness. Now that you've installed the single 30-inch light bar, now let's talk about wiring. The light bar comes with 2 wires. There's a positive and a negative. And we purchased a generic wiring harness, which I'm going to talk about and show you how I installed it for a single light bar application.
Mike, where did you buy this wiring harness from?
You can purchase a single light bar wiring harness on Amazon or eBay. We will post a link in the description. M&R does not sell the wiring harnesses. The wiring harness comes with a relay. It comes with a fuse. This side of the harness goes towards the battery. There's a positive and a negative terminal. And then when you stretch it out, sorry, I kind of got myself into a little nest. When you stretch it out, you have a terminal that goes towards the light bar itself. So pretty much you're going to go red to red, black to black on the harness. And the only thing that's being dragged inside the cab is the switch. So you have a push switch. It is on double-sided tape, so you can mount it somewhere on the dash. I'll show you how I installed it. It does separate here, so you can disconnect the wiring for the switch itself. You'll have to drill a hole in the firewall, the diameter of the switch connector. I already pre-drilled the location of the firewall. I'm going to show you exactly what spot I drilled into and how I'm going to run the wire. Follow me. There's a tight squeeze in there, so I apologize in advance. I'm gonna use a flashlight. So if you go inside where the pedals are, you can see I drilled a hole in the firewall. It will be It will be closed up with that rubber mat afterwards. So the first thing I'm going to do is put the switch through the cab, through the hole in the firewall that we've made. I'm going to go ahead and detach the wiring. I'm going to be feeding this thing through the firewall, through the engine bay, and connect this on the inside of the cab. So follow me. I'm feeling the hole through the firewall. I'm going to go ahead and slide the adapter through it. There we go. Now we're going to go back inside and pull it. Here I got the adapter. So now I can connect the switch back up. And now we have a functioning switch inside the cab. You can mount it anywhere. We'll still yet to find a location for it. But let's go back into the engine bay and connect the positives and negatives for the battery, as well as the light bar itself. So on the engine bay side of the light bar wires themselves, I'm going to go ahead and trim them slightly. I'm going to put a crimp connector on the red and a crimp connector on the black. The wiring harness wires, same thing. So we're going to go red to red and black to black. Okay, we got the red to red, black to black. So the only thing that's left on the wiring harness is on the relay side and the fuse side. Just connect the positive and the negative to the battery, and then we're going to go ahead and test the switches. The light bar comes with over 6.5 feet of wiring, so you could either keep the length and zip tie the wiring in your engine bay, or you can go ahead and cut the wire to the length that you need in order to connect it to the wiring harness. The only thing that's left is to connect the positive and the negative terminal onto the battery. So we're going to go ahead and connect the positive, which is a red wire. Now we're going to do the exactly same thing for the negative terminal. I'm going to go ahead and loosen it, slip the eyelid through it, and tighten it back up. Okay, and that's it. Let's go ahead and test it.
Oh yeah, nice and bright.
So the only thing that's left is to actually get the wires nice and neat, use some zip ties and hide it away. Pretty much wraps up the installation. Thank you very much, and tune in for future videos.